All right, chat, we're going to respond to this video. Just for reference, I tried to remix this on YouTube so that I could like tag you. So I think you would see it or you'd get some sort of notification. But it won't let you remix or remix on YouTube. So I can't actually do that. So Lawrence 210LG at Twitter, I'm going to respond to your video that you posted on Twitter over here. And this will also give me the opportunity to sort of address some other things. So we're going to respond to your video, and then I'm going to talk about some other stuff that's been going on Twitter while all of this like wild shit has been going down. But here's the deal. Like, I think a lot of people got introduced to me being like over the top, yelling, being upset because of the polarizing video that I made when I initially responded to Eric July. And although that is part of who I am, I do get very angry and passionate about stuff when it comes to my community. I'm also not this like wild person that just flips out all the time. And I think that's probably, to me, one of the, probably the disappointments in all of this, because I don't care that people are talking about me and retweeting me and taking my video clips and stuff. I don't really care about that. And I know you guys are like, well, if you don't care, why are you saying it? We're going to go over all that in this video. I'm going to explain everything to everyone, but I'm going to do so in a very chill way, how I normally do my streams, how the people that come to my shows know me to be, how I am in my videos and stuff for my other channels, instead of being so polarizing, because I'm hoping that to some degree, some people will at least consider some of the stuff I'm saying, because one of the things I don't want to do with my content is I want to make a difference. I don't want to hurt the community that I'm trying to help. And I think the more aggressive approach that I've had, at least in the last few videos, has probably been too over the top. So I want to take an opportunity to do a video where I'm dialed back and maybe people will actually listen to what I'm saying instead of flipping out. I know a lot of you aren't. I know the comments are going to be et cetera, whatever. But I'm hoping some of you do listen, because I think if we can somehow come to some place in the middle, it will make everything better. I know that's not going to work for everybody, but I'm going to try and, keep the faith here. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. Let's get onto this video from 210LG. Now, I will say this, if anybody who's watching this video is, one of my normal viewers or whatever, please don't go over and and say anything negative to this person. I don't want to like continue the trail here. I have my issues with certain content creators. I don't want to start like having that negativity kind of going off on other people. All right, so here we go. My latest video on my channel here is an absolute dumpster fire of
Nope, we're not gonna do that. Not today, Satan. Now, as someone who has made a comment on one of your videos, let me tell you why I believe that's bullshit.
Okay, so I think the video, I'm trying to remember which video that was. That was the video where I think I was talking about being targeted. I believe that's the one where I was talking about being targeted by people who were hating on me because of what I had said on YouTube. Or attacked. I might have used the word attack. And I pretty much stand by that. And let me explain to you why I feel that way. I think if you come after me and you want to like have a conversation about what I'm saying or the topics that I'm talking about or things like that, I'm usually totally cool with that, even if I'm a little bit defensive. But I try to be open to that. Maybe it takes a couple of back and forths for me to change, but ultimately I try to go into that open. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I've said this before. But if you're coming after me and you're like, oh, you're gay, using the F slur, sending me images of like homophobic stuff, things that have absolutely nothing to do with what I was saying, and they're just attacking me directly, that is an attack. And I feel very much like I understand the difference in that, but I want you guys to be clear on what I consider to be an attack. So if you come after me and you're like, hey, I don't agree with, this subject that you were talking about, or I want something like that, I'm willing to have a conversation about that. If you are genuinely looking for my answer, if you're coming after me just to leave a negative comment or to call me names, that's attacking. It's not going to get any kind of like legitimate response from me. Most likely you'll get something, I'll say something sarcastic or I'll make a joke out of it. And if you continue to do it, I'll just block and mute you. That's just the way it goes for me. I don't put energy into that kind of stuff. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
Just because someone disagrees with you on something, it doesn't mean it's an attack on you. That's number one.
Well, I don't consider that an attack. If someone disagrees with me on a topic, I don't consider that attack. But there is no disagreements on human rights. So my issue here is if you don't see validity in queer people, you know, trans people, gay people, you know, anybody under the umbrella, bi people, if you don't see the validity of those people and their feelings and the way they want to be treated in society as something important to you, that's not an opinion. That's a human rights issue. And that's where I draw my line. Like, I'm not going to have a discussion about whether or not gay people should be allowed to be represented in media. That's not an opinion. That's bigotry. And that's why I get so passionate about it, because having an opinion would be, I don't like this character in this movie. Not saying I don't think gay people are good enough to be featured in this movie or this TV show. That's not an opinion. One is an opinion, the other is oppression. And a lot of times these content creators, especially some of the ones that you obviously follow, cross that line and they don't address it. They don't say, my bad, I made a mistake, or walk it back or whatever. They keep pushing, they keep doubling down, and that's an issue for me. That's not an opinion.
Number two, y'all keep conflating these ideas, and the reason why y'all get called brainlets for
conflating what ideas? I mean, which specific ideas are you talking about? I can't really respond to that because I don't know. Conflating what ideas? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that one.
By the way, is because y'all keep using the same talking points that's been debunked multiple times.
Well, which one specifically? That's a very like broad brush, and I don't know which talking points you're talking about. Again, if you're talking about like representation in media and things like that, those are human rights things. Those are things that go beyond just opinion. They're not, and you can't really debunk the talking point. You can't be like, oh, it's human rights, and then you go, no, because y'all are not human. You can't, that's not a debunk. You can't debunk that. You know, I don't know what talking points you're talking about. So I really don't have much more to say about that.
And also y'all get called weirdos because y'all do weird shit.
No, we get called weirdos because it's a blanket term. There's a lot of slurs. By the way, your friend, Eric July, uses the term fruit or fruity a lot. In the gay community, it's not as common now as it used to be, but that is a slur. It's a slur used against gay people. It was very big and popular, you know, back in the day, but it still is a gay slur. And it's one of those ones that's just vague enough that you can get away with it. But it very much is considered a gay slur. Anyway, so those are slurs. Weirdo is a stand-in word for other slurs. And you're being disingenuous because you know what it means. I don't believe that you don't know what it means. You say we do weird shit. I'm curious to hear what the weird shit is here.
As in, y'all start attacking people's sexuality.
Where have I done that? I don't think I've ever advocated, at least not me personally. I can't speak for everybody, but I don't think I've ever advocated for someone not to be included in a movie or TV show because they're straight. I've never personally done that. I can't speak for everybody. I don't know anybody that does that, at least not in a legitimate, serious way. There's a hierarchy. Like growing up as a gay person, especially back in the 80s and stuff, there wasn't gay representation. Right? I had to watch as heteronormative behavior was pushed upon me in media. There wasn't any representation back then, unless you're talking about stereotypical stuff. So when I talk about how heteronormative ideals are pandered to in media, that's not attacking people because of their sexuality. I'm pointing out a fact. That is a fact. If you're advocating that gay people or queer people shouldn't be seen in media because you personally don't like it, that is going after somebody for that sexuality. I've never said that straight people shouldn't be in media. So I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Again, I'd need specific examples for you to, you know, to respond to that.
You know, other things that y'all would hate to have done to you.
I mean, we already have it done to us. We already do. I have had my entire life. I've, you know, been around for a long time. There are times where people do awful things to you. Do you know the story of Matthew Shepard? If you don't, you should look it up. Go online and look it up. But I lived through some awful shit, man. Like I've lived through awful stuff in my life. I have watched people that I know personally die in front of me from a disease that was completely ignored through the majority of the 80s and 90s because people were bigoted and phobic and afraid and didn't want to do anything for my community. So I've seen awful shit. And I know a lot of people are going to watch this say, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. I have lived through it. I've lived through that. I have lived through that kind of rhetoric and oppression. So none of this is new to me. Like, you are pointing something out to me. And it's a little strange, honestly, to have someone so much younger than me who doesn't know anything about my lived experience try and point something out to me as an adult gay man, as if I don't know or haven't lived through it. I can promise you the reason why these comments and things like this don't bother me the way they do is because I've heard it for 40 years. I've lived through this 40 years of my life. So the stuff doesn't faze me the same way it phases other people. This is why when I started this whole thing, I was telling people that I'm not the person that you're used to dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been going to rallies and pride rallies, protests, things like that. I've been doing that all my life. I have been fighting to be treated equal my entire life. My entire life. This is not a battle that's new to me. None of this is. The comments, the slurs, the insults, it's not new to me. And I don't expect you to got to be careful around him. I don't expect that. I just want to be treated as an equal individual, right? I want to be able to go to a movie, and if there's a gay character in a movie, enjoy that movie for having a character in there that looks like someone that I know, looks like me, could be someone that I know in my life. Because it's always good to see something like that after living your entire life not getting it. I feel like I've lived in like a golden era, over the last, 8 or 9 years, because I've seen so much positive change. And then I get on YouTube and I have people attacking me specifically because I'm gay. Coming after me because I have the nerve, this gay person, this one solo gay person has the nerve to speak up against this mountain of hate. Like, you don't know me, man. You don't know me. You think you do, but you don't. You're on the front lines for your favorite content creator. Just saying. All right, let's
But all of a sudden, it's okay because they don't think like you. It's perfectly fine.
They don't have to think like you don't have to think like me. I'm not asking you to be a gay person. I'm not asking you to be a gay person. I'm not asking you to be trans. I'm not asking you to be queer. I'm simply asking you to understand where I'm coming from. That's all I'm saying. The difference we have here, from what I can tell, because I don't know you that well, but if you're following Eric July and you're following these other content creators, I can assume that you at least somewhat agree with what they're saying. I don't need you to be a part of my community. I simply need you to understand when my community says, hey, this shit shouldn't be done to us. We are getting dogpiled. We're getting attacked online. We're getting harassed. To sit back and go, hey, you know what? Maybe my opinion in this matter is more than just an opinion. Maybe it's actually doing harm to this community. And as someone who doesn't want to do harm to people, maybe I should take a step back or have a conversation with somebody that's gay or queer to maybe get a better perspective on it. That's maybe the way you should approach it, but that's not what happens. What happens is it's attacking, it's harassment, it's mudslinging. And you have to understand, our reaction to a lot of this is years and years and years of having it said to us and thrown in our faces. So if we're a little angry, we're a little uptight, I feel like we should have a reason to be. I think we should be allowed that grace in the moment.
Right. That double standard right there is the main reason why a lot of us don't take y'all seriously.
The double standard doesn't exist, though. Let me explain that. A double standard would be we both have hamburgers. The hamburgers are equally dressed, same toppings, same price, all of that, right? But then we all of a sudden start asking for more. Like, we want 2 hamburgers. We want double the toppings. That would be a double standard. What we're having happen now is we have one full-size hamburger that's on your plate, that's in the straight community's plate, the cishet community. And then we have like a bun with like a piece of lettuce and a burger over here. And we're going, hey, just give us a few more toppings. Give us a few more so we can eat the same, so we can share. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening. It's not a double standard. Keep in mind, I am one person. Lawrence, I am one person. And look at how much hate I'm getting for simply speaking out as a gay man. I am simply one person trying to speak out for his entire community and express himself. That's all I'm doing. And look what has happened to me. I mean, I don't know you, so I don't know if you're going to get it. I don't know if you're going to understand this. And people hate the word homophobic. So let's jump over here. This is the meaning of homophobia. And I want to put this in perspective because people say, oh, he calls everything homophobic. Homophobia has a very simple and direct definition. Dislike of or prejudice against gay people. So let's take a look at that sentence and sort of break it down. We'll start out with prejudice because that's the one where some people might disagree about what prejudice is. So prejudice, let's look at the definition for prejudice. Prejudice is preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. The second one would be dislike, hostility, or unjust behavior deriving from unfounded opinion. So we'll just take those two portions of that. So a preconceived opinion would be all of these things that straight people seem to think they know about the gay community or the queer community, which a lot of the channels that make this content that comes out as hate content towards the queer community is based on a preconceived opinion. Right? Can we agree on that? You come into it with a preconceived opinion. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. It's not based on any reason or actual experience. So those two things are also very clear to me. Actual experience means knowing gay people, knowing people that are trans, knowing people that are queer. And I've asked many times, most of these content creators do not have a very wide net of experience within the queer community. I don't know if any of them have any experience. Based on reason. Now, reason is the tricky one because that's the one where we get into like misleading content or misinformation. So your entire reason could be that you're being fed misinformation. That could be the entire reason why. The second is dislike, hostility, unjust behavior derived from unfounded opinions. That's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. That's exactly what I'm dealing with on social media right now. All right, so we go back to here, homophobia. So prejudice against gay people. Already, I've given you so many examples of what I'm dealing with that would fall under the definition of homophobia or homophobic. Dislike is very simple. It's a very simple thing. If you dislike gay people for any reason that's connected to them being gay, it doesn't matter if it's because of gay people, their hair color, or they want to have pride parades or whatever that reason may be, for any reason that you dislike a gay person, under the definition is homophobia if it is based on them being gay. Now, if you don't like me because you don't like that I'm loud, if you don't like me because I support Star Wars or something like that, of course that's not homophobia. That's just we're having a conversation. But if you dislike me because I'm a gay person and I'm talking about gay things, that's homophobia. That's homophobic. There is no other definition. That's it. That's the only one. Look, the only one. So when I say somebody is homophobic, transphobic is the same, dislike or prejudice against trans people. All of these things are very simple definitions to understand. They're very simple. Google is free. I say this all the time. Google is free. Actually, there would be a lot less arguing if people would just do like 5 minutes of research. It's just too much. All right. I want to address the debate thing. If you're still tuned in, I know it's a longer video. People are asking me why, or if I would debate, Eric July, or why I won't debate Eric July. And it's very simple. I don't believe that Eric July sees gay people as equals. I don't believe that he sees queer people as equals. based on my own personal experiences with this content. And it's not like I've only watched one or two of his videos. I've seen his videos for years. So I have a good idea of how I feel as a gay person when it comes to the kind of content he makes. So I don't see any reason for me to debate with Eric unless Eric made a video expressing somehow, some way that he was not, that he sees gay people as equals, which I don't think he would ever do that, a video like that. I would implore people to point out a video where he's ever talked positively about the queer community at all. I've never seen it. I've never seen him make a video where he's been like, this is representation from gay people done right. I've never seen that. I'll be the first to admit that I don't know if it exists, but I don't believe it does. Has he ever done a video where he's championed like gay representation? I don't think he has. Again, I don't know. Anyway, so I don't want to debate someone that doesn't even see me as an equal human being. When they're using words like groomer and the P word and stuff like that, when they're saying that and calling gay people fruits and stuff like that, I don't believe for a second that if we can't even agree that we are equal as human beings, then what am I debating about? What are we debating at that point? That's literally the core of my conversations here, is that we should be treated like human beings. If we can't even agree to that, then what's the point of having a debate? If I were quote unquote afraid of Eric July, I would have never made these videos. I'm not afraid of anybody. Make that very clear. I'm still making content. I just don't have a reason to engage him. I know y'all want it to happen so badly, which is why I am on everybody's, like, I went online and people are sending me stuff from all these different accounts, like the goalpost accounts and the L accounts or whatever. And I'm just blocking people. I'm not even engaging with people. I don't have the time or energy to argue with people who are just homophobic. I just don't. If you would like to talk to me about these actual subjects and possibly make a difference, maybe I would have a conversation. However, I'm not going to talk to somebody who sees gay people as predators, as a blanket thing. Not going to do that. Thank you, chat. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about this. And I talked about it earlier in the video. I was like, I'm going to cover this insult that keeps getting thrown my way about, if you don't give a fuck, why do you keep making videos? If you don't give a fuck what people think about you. Clearly you do, because you're still making videos and stuff. Like, I see this insult all the time. And I'm like, isn't it pretty obvious? I thought it was obvious. I was giving you guys a lot of credit that you would just get it, but it seems like you're not. So I'm going to explain myself one time about this, and that's it. So if you wanted the answer for this, here we go. When I say that I don't give a fuck what people think about me, I mean that 100%. I don't care what people personally think about me based on this content, on this channel, what's happening over here. I don't care if you don't like me, you don't like my beard, you don't like my glasses, you don't like my hair, you think I'm fat. All of these things you feel about me personally, you don't really know me. Okay? Make that very clear. You don't know me. So all of those personal issues that you have with me, whether you like me or you don't like me, they're irrelevant. They don't matter. This is the internet. Like, it doesn't matter. However you feel about me personally, whether you dislike my wardrobe, whether you think that I talk funny, whatever those things are, none of that matters to me. I'm not here arguing to be anybody's best friend. This isn't like me putting out a best friend application or something like that. That's not what I'm doing here. And if that's what you thought I was doing here, then you completely misunderstand what I'm using in terms of my platform over here on this channel. You completely misunderstood me. What I do care about, what I am very passionate about, is the queer community. Obviously the entire queer community, but very specifically the gay community, because I am a part of that community. So I care about those things. When I hear subjects and misinformation and bigotry and phobia being tossed around, I want to be able to speak up about it. And as someone who lives in a country where free speech exists, I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to express myself. I'm allowed to say what I want to say. And you, as people on the internet, are also allowed to give your opinion. I'm not disputing that. But one of the things that I think is funny is you seem to think that my feelings about whether or not people like me as a person are somehow connected to the work that I want to do and the type of content that I want to make. Those things are not mutually exclusive. They don't exist with each other. How people feel about me, what I want to do on this platform are not connected together. They're not one and the same. So when I say I don't give a fuck what you think about me, I genuinely mean that. None of you know me. Matter of fact, some of you just met me this past week. So why would I care what you think of me personally? Give me a reason why I would care. There isn't one. There's no reason. But I'm still going to speak up about the subjects that I'm passionate about. So until I make a video on here where I'm crying about somebody who didn't like my beard color or called me fat or made some personal insult towards me, if I make a whole video about that and I'm not talking about specific things that deal with the queer community, then you can call me out on that. Otherwise, I don't think I've made any videos about anybody personally offending me. I know that's a hard concept. Like a lot of you guys struggle. You struggle with some of this stuff. I get it. I feel for you, but I'm not going to, keep giving you guys like hand holding you through my topics. Pay attention. All right. Lastly, before I go, I just want you guys to know that from the standpoint of representing the gay community as one person, I want you to know that I'm not speaking for everyone. But I am speaking from my own personal experience and a vast majority of people that I've met over the years. Being as old as I am, I have a pretty good idea of things that are going on in the gay community. And I know for a fact when I see homophobic behavior, what it is. When I see queer phobic behavior, what it is. So all the gaslighting can stop. The comments asking me to prove this, prove that. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to prove anything here. I've said what I have to say. If you don't believe my lived experience, then that's on you. It's not on me. I don't have to prove any of that. If you just don't want to believe that what I'm saying about my life as a gay person is enough for you, then I don't have to prove anything. I will stand by the fact that these channels don't know what they're talking about. When it comes to medical stuff, they're not doctors. When it comes to stuff about the gay community, they're not gay. They don't know anything about the gay community. And if someone like Eric or anyone from the Geeks and Gamers or any of these other people wanted to actually talk to a gay person and get a honest opinion about the gay community, they would make a concerted effort to do it. And they've not done it. And I don't mean like the one gay friend. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking like making an actual effort to speak to people in the community. But the constant videos that they make, the videos where woke this, woke that, gay this, gay that, trans that, or whatever, tells me that they are very comfortable making money on the backs of persecuted and marginalized people. So I don't expect any videos like that to ever come from their channels, because I don't think it will. All right, chat, I'm done. I'm out of here.